Index 36 on impairment of assets. Now, what is impairment of assets and what is the objective of Index 36? So, to begin with, we all know it very well that in business we use different kinds of fixed assets. We use tangible assets and we use intangible assets. Tangible assets or intangible assets, since we are using them in the business, their values are diminishing year after year. So recording of that diminishing of value of these tangible or intangible assets in the financial statements in a systematic manner over the useful life of the assets are referred as depreciation and amortization. Depreciation in respect of tangible assets and amortization in respect of intangible assets. Now, depreciation or amortization is a systematic reduction in the useful value or in the value of the assets over a useful period. But remember, it's not that value of an asset can go down only by virtue of depreciation or by virtue of amortization. Many times, value of an asset can go down because of impairment. Now, what is impairment? Impairment is because of some development in terms of change in the technology, in terms of customer preference, in terms of damage to a particular asset, or because company has taken a decision to dispose of a particular asset. Now, because of all these reasons, it is possible that the realizable value or value in use of an equipment may go lower than the carrying amount of that asset. So, what is carrying amount? Carrying amount, as we all know, carrying amount is the amount at which an asset is shown in the balance sheet. That is the carrying amount. तो अगर किसी कारण से इस कंपनी की जो रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू है या इसकी जो वैल्यू इन यूज है, अगर हायर ऑफ दीज टू फिगर्स इज लोअर देन द कैरिंग अमाउंट, in that case there is a impairment. That means the value of that asset no longer can be shown in the balance sheet at the carrying amount. It will have to be shown at the higher of the value in use or the realizable value. So the difference between the carrying amount and higher of the realizable value and the value in use, that difference will need to be recorded in the books of the company in the P&L as a impairment loss, and correspondingly the value of the asset, carrying amount of the asset, will be reduced by this amount of impairment loss. So that is, friends, is your impairment. Now, what is the objective of Index 36, which is on impairment of assets? And the objective of Index 36 is the same as the objective of any other Indian accounting standards that we have in this country. Meaning what? Meaning ultimately our P&L or the balance sheet of a company need to show the numbers which are truly reflective of the position of the assets and the liabilities. That is the objective, or that is the purpose today for which the financial statements are to be used, or the financial statements need to disclose. So to achieve that objective is the Index 36 which is on impairment assets. कहने का मतलब क्या है? कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर मेरी कैरिंग अमाउंट 100 करोड़ की है और मुझे मालूम है कि इसकी रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू 80 करोड़ है और इसकी वैल्यू इन यूज़ 70 करोड़ है, तो मुझे मालूम है कि इस एसेट को अगर मैं 100 करोड़ रुपए मेरी बैलेंस शीट में दिखाता हूँ, दैट मीन्स आई एम नॉट शोइंग द करेक्ट पिक्चर in my financial statements. So what I need to do, I need to correct it. And how do I correct it? I correct it by following Index 36 on fair value, Index 36 on impairment of assets. That means what? That means as I said earlier, जो realizable value है और जो value in use है, वो दोनों में जो ज़्यादा है that becomes my new carrying amount. That becomes my new carrying amount, and the differential is taken to P&L as a impairment loss. So the objective is to reflect the true and correct situation of the assets and the liabilities of the company in the balance sheet.